Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel that takes you deep inside the San Francisco 49ers. I am your host, Jack Hammer, and today I wanted to take a look at 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. In particular, his draft position and how that has impacted the way that people have looked at his performance from last season as we've gone through this offseason. You know, there was a tweet recently that came out that read, if the 49ers had traded 3 first-round picks for Brock Purdy, people would be much more critical of him. And in reality, I think it's the opposite. I think that if Brock Purdy had been taken 3rd overall and gone out and had the season that he just put out as a rookie, that people would be excited about what's to come. They would be looking at his potential for what he's going to be doing down the road. Instead, because he was Mr. Irrelevant, he's a nice little story that doesn't have a big enough arm. He's not tall enough. He's not this, he's not that. It's not something that is going to be sustainable. It's all going to fall apart on him. All those types of things. That's what we've heard over and over and over again throughout this offseason. And I just think it's a bunch of baloney. I just don't buy it. You know, you look at Brock Purdy, you look at his performance last year, 6.9% touchdowns. That is what would have been best in the NFL last season of all quarterbacks who had at least 250 dropbacks. His yards per attempt, 8.1. Tied with Patrick Mahomes for best in the NFL last season. His interception percentage, 1.7%. That was tied for the 9th lowest in the league and one of the lowest that we've seen in San Francisco in quite some time. And one of the reasons that's really helped this offense and the 49ers win as many games as they did and not lose any of the ones that he started, you know. And so for me, again, like I said already, if Brock Purdy had been the number 3 quarterback taken, if they had used 3 first-round draft picks, people would be extremely excited about him. You know, you look at the numbers, and where I would compare him to is a guy like Ben Roethlisberger. Now, not physically, not by stature. Ben Roethlisberger, he's the big dude with the big arm, all those kind of things. That's why he was taken in the first round, right? But if you look at what he did that season, he led the Pittsburgh Steelers to a 13-0 regular season, got them to the AFC Championship game in his rookie year of 2004. They lost in the AFC Championship game. But you go back and you look at that Pittsburgh Steelers team and compare that a little bit to what Brock Purdy's done. And now, you know, one of the things with like guys like Brock Purdy is it's all, you know, one of the knocks is, oh, it's the defense. The defense set him up with all the turnovers. And they run the ball so good. Look at all the guys that he had around him on that offense. Well, here's the thing. Like when you look at what Ben Roethlisberger did in 2004, the reason I like that is the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2004 ran the ball 618 times. That was an average of 38 times per game. Ben Roethlisberger in his 13 starts averaged just under 22 attempts per game during the regular season. If you include his postseason, it was just over 22. He hardly threw the ball. He lived behind a guy named Jerome Bettis and Deuce Staley and was able to play off of that. And remember, the Pittsburgh Steelers of the early 2000s, they had a hell of a defense as well. And so put all those things together in a young quarterback who played at a high level, and Ben Roethlisberger and the performance that he put up was talked about as extremely high. And I think we would see the same thing when it comes to a guy like Brock Purdy. In reality, the people that really understand football, the analysts, the guys that have played the game, the other quarterbacks that have played in the NFL, guys like Kurt Warner, Alex Smith, Tony Romo, all those guys, they're telling you, and they're talking about how good Brock Purdy played. We might want to listen to the guys who really have been there and done it instead of guys who haven't been. And, you know, it's interesting. Alex Smith and Tony Romo just happen to both be in the area. They're up in Lake Tahoe playing in the Golf Pro-Am up there. And they both had questions asked of them about Brock Purdy. And both Romo and Alex Smith brought up the fact that he's not done yet, that he still has room to grow, that this is just a start, and that the sky is the limit, to paraphrase what they both said regarding Brock Purdy and his potential future in the NFL. The biggest thing with Purdy is the injury to his arm, how he can recover. But here's the thing. If Brock Purdy recovers and he's healthy this offseason, as we get to training camp or early on in training camp, and his arm's healthy and he's mentally there in terms of not being worried about taking a hit and those types of things, and he's able to go out and play just like he did in 2022, there's no reason that he can't go out and repeat it. There's no reason that the 49ers can't get to the Super Bowl this season if he can just stay healthy and make the plays that he needs to make. You look last season in his numbers, he would have been over 4,000 yards if he had played all 17 games, just based off of the yards per attempt and the number of passing attempts the 49ers had last year. So the sky's the limit for Brock Purdy, I think. I believe that the sky's the limit for the San Francisco 49ers, especially here in 2023 with the roster that they have. If we look at this, like I said, I'd love to hear from you. If the 49ers had traded 3 first-round picks for Brock Purdy, do you think that people would be more critical of him, or do you think that people would be more excited? I think they'd be more excited. Take it for what it's worth, but let me hear what you think as well. Please, if you can do me a favor, hit that like button, and then also, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and once you do that, make sure you turn on your notifications as well. With training camp coming up right around the corner, I promise you're not going to want to miss any of the updates right here on Inside the Farms with Jack Hammer. Have a great day, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.